This is probably one of the coolest locations I've ever done a podcast.
It's the best, isn't it?
And you know what's crazy about this? You saw me walk over here a second ago?
Yeah.
So we're in Santa Monica, the Palisades Bluffs. I think is what they're called in public. But I grew up right here.
Oh, you did?
I just walked over this tree over here. When I was in elementary school, I climbed up it and carved it in the tree like Scott Loves Julie or something like that.
You grew up here. See, the thing about living in LA now, it's very rare you meet people who actually grew up here and live here. Because everyone, like me, travelers, gypsies, will come and will move here, you know. But you live here. You were brought up here.
Yeah, I grew up so that street right there, 3 buildings up.
So you've got money?
No.
Your family had money?
No.
This is a rich neighborhood.
It is. But my father moved into that building in 1964. And it was a 2-bedroom apartment. And actually, my mom still lives there. And we had rent control.
Right.
I think my mom's paying like $600 or $800 a month
to
live there. And the units right next to her are going for like $5,000 a month.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
No money because I shared a room with my sister growing up, like my whole life. I didn't have my own bedroom till I was 22.
Right.
But
bit weird. You were in a sharing room with your sister when you were a 19-year-old.
I was in college then.
Oh, all right.
But yeah, it was weird. So what we did, we had those office dividers, in cubicles. We had one of those. Eventually, like when it came to a certain age, we put up one of those.
Yeah.
It was like I had my side. So I had like a little twin bed. I had some milk crates and some pieces of wood for shelves.
Wow. So you never had
money. I loved it.
Because now if you see a family in this neighborhood, it's like, wow, they must have money because it's expensive to live here.
Yes, but there is a large generation here of old money, as they say.
Right. Yeah. I've got a client that lives in a building just down here somewhere, and it's the best building I've ever been in. It's like living in a hotel. You've got valet park, and you pull up the park your car for you.
Yep.
You walk in, it's like a hotel. You've got views of all the ocean and the sunset. Then you've got a swimming pool on the roof. There's a restaurant in there. There's free coffee and tea in there, and it's beautiful. And it's about $20,000 a month. $20,000 a month rent to live there.
And there's no backyards, and you got to ride an elevator.
Exactly. But still, it's amazing. But yeah, I would love to have a backyard. I went to your house. I went to Scott's house. So anyway, before we get into that, the question that I want to ask you, for people who don't know who you are, if someone asks you what you do for a living, what do you tell them?
So I have a bunch of different answers to that. Sometimes, depending if I want to mess with somebody, I'll say like, I'm in waste management or behavior modification.
Right.
Which is kind of like true. Or, I'm not shy about it. Usually I'll just say like, I'm in law enforcement.
Yeah.
But I found like the nicest way to say it is I'm a policeman.
A policeman.
Because that's what, like, when little kids, they always refer to, a policeman. What do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a fireman or a policeman.
Yeah.
So it kind of puts like a less of a strong connotation of like, oh man, you give people tickets and ruin their days.
Right. Yeah. But I would say, because you're on the S.W.A.T team as well, I would say I'm on the S.W.A.T team, because that, to me, that's cool as fuck.
Yeah.
The policeman's like, but on the S.W.A.T team, that's like different level.
It's first of all, I'm very lucky in my career. I get to work for a great department. I absolutely love my job for a lot of different reasons. And to be clear, the SWAT part is a collateral duty. It's, we'll say, full-time, part-time, but it's also not what you see in the movies.
Right.
There's actually a whole lot of standing around and waiting.
Right. Yeah.
And wearing a bunch of gear. But the other thing that's cool is that, and lately, at least politically, you've seen people questioning some of the equipment that law enforcement has, like, armored vehicles, or, oh my gosh, they're wearing helmets and big vests, but all that stuff is protection equipment so that we can go help save people.
Yeah.
It's kind of, simply, that's what it comes down to.
I remember the first time I met you, it wasn't the first time, this was the second time I met you. We went for lunch to that Baby Blues barbecue before we did your podcast, which is the Wardcast podcast. And we were sitting having lunch, and we would end up talking about your job and guns. And you said, "Oh, I carry a gun on with me all the time." And I went, "Have you got one on you now?" And you said, "Yeah." And I shit myself. Have you got one on you now?
Yeah.
You got one on you right now?
Yes.
You're sitting here with a gun on you. See, and I remember fucking hell, and I said, that scares me. And I remember your answer was, if I never had my gun on me now, that would scare me, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And when I'm walking around and I'm in Starbucks and I see a cop and he's got a gun like right there, that shit doesn't make me feel safe. That shit scares me. Maybe it's come from the UK and it's new to us, but that shit scares me.
Well, it's an inanimate object. It's a piece of metal, right? If it was sitting right here on my leg, it's not going to do anything. It's just there. It's a thought process and the human behind it,
right? With
the evil intention there, in the hands of a bad guy. A gun in the hands of a good guy is a life-saving tool,
right?
So the other perspective, and I totally understand it, because before I really got into my career, I had gone to the range a few times, but I didn't necessarily have the awareness or the training or the inoculation to it that I have now.
Yeah.
Because now when I leave, it's like, okay, just like you grab your keys, you grab your wallet, you grab your gun, you grab your cell phone, and you're out. It's like a normal piece of equipment.
Right.
It's not something strange and foreign. I bet if I spent like 20 minutes with you going over it, you would feel a lot better about it. I don't
know. And what I was going to say, I went to Scott's house and did a podcast in your garage, and we were talking again about guns. And you went, "Oh, I've got them around the house." And then you pulled one out from the top of you, wherever it was, and you showed me it, and it was loaded. And I felt very vulnerable right then, even though you're my boy and all that, and obviously I know you're a fucking great guy and you're not going to do it. But at the same time, I was like, I could be dead within a second. Like that shit, like it's weird to me.
It wasn't the sword?
No, he had a big, massive sword there as well, and a knife and a kosh and all of the other sorts of shit. But the loaded gun was like, oh.
No, I completely understand. But here's the thing that I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand, a certain level of reality. And what I mean by that is people in law enforcement, our reality is like right here. And all we do, especially the men and women in uniform, in patrol, right? In their wools, depending on what part of the country they're from, usually they're navy blue. They go out. Let me actually rewind a little bit. When you get dressed for work, I'm assuming like you put on your shorts, you put on a tank top, you put on your shoes, right? And you go to work. Well, when a law enforcement officer gets dressed, they put on their shirt, underwear, they got the socks, they put on a bulletproof vest, which it's not really proof. You hope it's proof, but it's like bullet resistant. But
right.
You put on a thing that hopes to protect you if someone tries to murder you. This is a weird concept.
Yeah.
Every time I put mine on, I'm always thinking, this is just weird.
Yeah.
I'm going to work, but I have to put this vest on.
Right.
So that's part of the reality. And then the tools and the boots and everything. And then you go out. And then every single solitary day for every single patrol officer, all they do outside of hanging out and grabbing some coffee and donuts as usual, but is respond to calls for help.
Yeah.
And responding to those people that it might be the worst moment of their entire life. And so every single day, all these officers are going out and responding to and seeing the worst parts of human behavior.
Right.
The bad stuff. It's not like, oh, it's Billy's 13th birthday, call the police. That doesn't happen unless they're too loud and they're getting crazy. But so the point I'm making is that there's a really violent and ugly side of human nature. And we are the ones that get called to all of those every single solitary minute of every single day. And we also know the violence out there because we go to it all the time.
Yeah.
So an example is like for you, a traffic collision might not happen that often in your world right now as Tony Jeffries, the civilian. But let's just say we jumped in a car and every single traffic collision, we went to it.
Right, yeah.
Do you see how that would change your reality?
Yeah.
So now your reality is like, wow, this happens a lot. Everyone put their phones down, pay attention.
Yeah.
Like, don't drink and drive because you might hit a family of 4.
Yeah.
So your reality kind of changes.
Yeah.
So the weapon system, the gun, is a tool that is most likely not going to be needed, but there's been several times that it has been used, even just in the last couple of years at my agency, where it stopped somebody from killing a lot of people. And another example, let's see what I can say. SMC, there was a school shooting at Santa Monica College
I
years
remember
back.
that. Yeah.
And some guys completely risked their life, ran into blind.
It's one of your boys over there.
There he is, going to use the bathroom. So went in blind because they couldn't see in to go stop a violent suspect that was going around shooting people with a rifle.
Yeah.
Like, if we didn't have that ability, then he would have killed, I don't know, like 50 more people inside of a library.
No, I get that, and then that's great. But in England, in the UK, we don't have guns. If you obviously know that, and if you get caught with a gun, you're going to go to jail because it's that bad of a crime. If you've just got one, if you want to get a gun, you've got to get one on the black market, which is now going to cost you 10 grand or whatever it is. In America, you can get a gun from Big Five. I was in Big Five the other week, and you can get guns from there. And to me, I would love to see America do what England done and Australia done as well, and just get rid of all guns. Because the guy who's in the school shooting up with in the SMC, he's obviously easy for him to get a gun. But if guns was totally illegal and totally banned completely, maybe just the policeman can have them. Would you not think that would be a better way to live and better for people to feel safe? See, because the Americans who've got guns now, they say they've got them to be safe in case someone comes and burgles the house and all that. But I get that. But if because they can easily get guns like this kid did. But if it's so super hard to get hold of the gun, it's going to be less worry for them.
It's not going to happen.
I get it's not going to happen, but do you think it would be better if it did happen?
Look, a couple things. One, I'd rather carry a sword. I'm not really into guns myself.
Right.
I don't like them. I think they're too easy. I think if you could work a remote control for a TV, you can fire a gun. I think a 3-year-old can pick up and fire a gun.
Yeah.
A 3-year-old can't pick up and yield a sword.
Right.
So, but that's not the reality of it. It's not the reality at all. And so I try not to spend a tremendous amount of time even thinking about it, because it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's impossible. There's millions of them.
Right.
Millions and millions. And even if they're illegal, nobody can buy them, then people steal them. Here's the other thing. Murder is illegal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I get it.
Stop signs. You're not supposed to.
Yeah,
you're not
I get
supposed
it.
to roll through them.
Everyone breaks the law, but if we can make it harder for the law to be broken, I think
It's not that easy. It's not that easy.
What to just ban?
Because people, there's a couple things like.
You mean it's not easy just to say, all right, ban guns? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, that's not easy at all.
Yeah.
There's like a exactly 0% chance that's going to happen, but I don't know what the answer is. Obviously, if you could limit fully automatic firearm sales, that'd be great. If we could disarm all the bad guys, that'd be great.
Surely that would be simple to stop selling the fully automatic guns. It should be simple.
Yeah, but you know what? You can change a gun just like you can like upgrade a car. You can jailbreak your phone and make it work better.
Right.
You can take the governor off a car and change the muffler system. You can change motors. Anything that we can upgrade everything, like off the market or black market or whatever. So it's not like, okay, hey, you can take a pistol, a Glock pistol, which is pretty basic, and make that into a fully automatic firearm.
Right. Yeah.
So the other thing that we're not necessarily talking about. Oh, let me rewind. So having and carrying weapons there's been several instances of off-duty law enforcement stepping up and stopping somebody.
Yeah.
Like a mall. There was recently a shooting at a mall, and an off-duty officer did what he had to do to take care of it, so that guy stopped killing people.
Wow.
And here's the other thing: in our reality, we get this information and we see it and we know the possibility of it. If I was in a position where that happened and I wasn't prepared, I don't think I could live with myself.
Yeah.
So if like we don't like bad guys and we don't like that violence, we don't like people victimizing innocent people.
Right.
And so if that happens, like we want to have the ability to stop them.
Yeah.
The thing at my house you brought up, a buddy of mine who's in law enforcement, a bad guy came to his house.
Really?
So there is that component of reality, and he actually got in a shooting with the guy. So,
wow.
It's all like, it's just a purely of a pure protection, and everything's going to stay where it is for hopefully my entire life.
Yeah.
It's like wearing a seatbelt, like you want to be prepared.
Right.
Like not wearing your seatbelt is easier, but like, what if?
Yeah.
Right? You're going to feel bad if you get in an accident, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
Right. Yeah. I know what you mean.
But I tell you what, man, it's 100%. It's not about me. It's for other people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's scary shit. One thing about the police as well, which I would like to know if you get this, is people online now don't really see the good that the police do. All we see and hear is about the bad stuff, about especially the racism, and then there was that incident the other week where that nurse got manhandled by a cop who wouldn't draw blood. She was trying to draw blood. He wanted her to draw blood from a potential witness, and she said, "You've got no right to do it." And then she didn't do it, so he arrested her, but he handled it all wrong. And that was videos online. We seen that, and then there was other cop involved with that who was talking some shit as well. So both of them end up getting fired. I don't know if you. I heard that last night. They both got fired. But that's what we see. We see about the cops all doing the bad stuff all the time. But we never, like what you've just said there, really made us think. Like, you go to people when they're they're having the worst time of their life, and you go in there to help them. Do you get much shit? Is the word? Or do you get much? Yeah. Do you get much shit off people for being the cop?
Oh yeah. So this is a big discussion. So a couple of things. Number one, there's like 1 million police officers, right? In my agency, an average patrol officer will on a monthly basis will respond to like 100 to 150 radio calls. Now you multiply that on a monthly basis, and that's not including all the other contacts they're making with people throughout the day. So you take that and you multiply that times the hundreds of thousands of contacts, and the news will show one of those.
Yeah.
When it's like 1 in 2 million.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then they put their spin on it. They don't put in the entire facts.
Yeah.
So while police officers, they're just people. They're just people that that grow up playing sports, and then that's their job. It's not like bred in a factory and don't have life experience. A lot of people I work with are like little league coaches and help out their schools, and they're like the best people. You have to be a really good, solid person to go through and see the stuff that we see.
Yeah.
And I can get into some of that stuff later. So you have like the career, right? Now in law enforcement, you're expected to be a black belt in martial arts, hand-to-hand combat, be able to spin bullets around trees, supposed to know the entire Constitution, every single law. You're supposed to remain completely calm, be a stunt driver, no verbal judo, understand every single solitary case law out there. Also, while being able to listen to everything on the radio and never getting upset and listen. So there's nothing, and be a psychologist, a doctor, a parent. Yeah. It's like there's all these components to it. And they're supposed to never get help, like upset. So,
right.
And what I mean by that is a lot of, like, imagine, like, right now I could have gone to a death notification and then come right back and sit down and talk to you.
Yeah.
And nobody thinks about the weight that officer might be carrying or where they just came from. Or
Yeah.
maybe there's some domestic violence and somebody had to arrest mom in front of the kids. It's a very emotionally taxing job that builds up. And when everyone joins, they're like, have the best intentions. But then we bear the weight of humanity's ugliest side throughout our career. And we're never supposed to make a mistake. And we don't have any time to decide things. Sometimes it's just, right now, make a decision, go.
Yeah.
And so if they're on camera, it's like, oh my gosh. So there's such a high level of scrutiny, and deservedly so. Like, it's a very important position, right? But we're still humans. And so we're still people. We still care. If you didn't care, you couldn't do it. But we're all grouped into one lump. So somebody like across on the other side of the world who I've never met or I have no idea what their training is, they might make a mistake and then I get blamed for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so take like, and there's not many careers like that. You know, doctors' handwriting causes 7,000 deaths a year because some miscommunication. Would that stop you? Would you go to a doctor and call him a murderer?
Yeah.
Look at the amount of like sexual abuse from teachers and having sexual relationships with young kids, young boys, young girls. Would you still send your kid to school?
Yeah.
You know, look at photographers. How many photographers like rape a model? Do they stop doing that? Are all photographers putting that?
Yeah.
Like same thing. If you look at trainers, how many trainers do you think sexually assault their clients?
Yeah.
You know, but they're all. My point being is that like there is a level of, and I use this word on purpose, but there is a level of like blue discrimination. And so I've been walking around, you know, and unfortunately I have to use myself. I don't always like to use myself as an example, but we respond like to missing kids all the time. Like parents, you know, kids, they're little fast, little crazy war monkeys, right? They fly around. And so I've been helping a mom find her 5-year-old daughter. And she was completely upset. Wow. And I did everything I could to calm her down, let her know that, you know, I have kids. I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to use my resources to help find her kid and letting her know it happens all the time. She's going to be fine. Doing everything I can to soothe. While I'm doing this and looking, there's another group over here screaming at me, calling me a racist murderer.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like sitting here like...
Fuck, you know.
And so I can't let... That's... Okay, cool. Like, that's their free speech. Call me what you want. But I'm busy actually trying to do some good work here.
Yeah. Did you find the kid?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's scary. Like, my wife is a nurse at the emergency room in St. John's Hospital. You might have seen her. You might bump into her. I'll introduce you next time. And the seeing what you said, like, there's so much pressure on her. Like, when she's there, she might be doing chest compressions or whatever they do. She doesn't really talk to me. Or there might be a 10-year-old boy just died in front of her. And then she's got to come home and play with the kids.
Yes.
It's like ridiculous, but she gets respect for it. Where I feel like what you've seen and what I know myself is the police officers don't get the respect that they deserve because of these arsehole police officers that's doing wrong is putting you under the same brush.
Yeah, you know, a couple of things I want to talk about. Number one, the officers that were involved in that nurse.
Yeah.
Like my first reaction, just like everyone, I was appalled. Like, get that person out of here. Of course, there's going to be there's the 0.01% of people that like snuck through and probably made some bad decisions. That particular officer, he might, I don't know all the circumstances, but it's my understanding he got direction from his lieutenant, his supervisor, via phone to force that.
Right.
So I don't know all the circumstances, but there is certain decision making that you have to be in control of, and regardless of what your orders are. And sometimes you have to know when not to do something.
Yeah.
And if somebody doesn't have the ability to know when not to do something, then they shouldn't be in law enforcement.
Yeah. Because
you have to articulate and have a complete reason why you do something, the same reason why you don't do something. And so going back, so the media and what you see is almost like a fantasy story. It's not a reality. It's like what's going on over here when the actual reality is here.
But it is true, like some of the stuff just being caught on videos, right?
Yes, but you're also not seeing, one, you're not seeing the whole picture. You're not seeing the history. And you're not seeing what led to the decision making of that officer.
Right.
And all this stuff, and actually in the public and the media, everyone, if they really want to learn about law enforcement use of force, is to look up the 1989 Supreme Court case, Graham versus Connor. That court case defines our standard for use of force.
Right.
So I'm not going to get into all that, but that case defines it. And so that's why people are like, oh my gosh, he got away with it.
Yeah.
But not really, because if you understand all the circumstances, all the information that officer had at that moment, what he was feeling, what he viewed the crime was, what the threat level was, what the level of violence was, and then the decision he made at that exact moment, is it reasonable? Not the Monday morning quarterback looking back and taking time to decide. Like, let's just say right now you're sitting here, and let's just say I put a gun right there on your foot. Somebody's over here with a gigantic knife, and you already know he's called. He says, you know what? He wants to kill Machete.
Yeah. And
here he is walking up. He's walking with a knife, coming right towards him. What would you do?
You shoot him.
He's like right here. Let's just say he appears right here. He's walking up. He's walking. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Okay, Machete's dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like right now I have to make a decision based on the information that you have.
Yeah.
Or let's say he has a gun now. He's like, his fantasies, he wants to shoot Machete. Machete stole his girl. He's walking up, same thing, and he's about to, same thing. Would you shoot him?
Yeah.
Now let's just say you find out it was a pellet gun.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Yeah.
So my point being is that decision making is fast based on the information that person has at the exact moment. It's not everything that happens later on.
Yeah.
So to circle back to, what happens on social media and everything, I see it all. I look at it all. I see all the stuff, and it's like, one, it makes me sad that people feel that way, but in a way, it's based off of a false narrative.
Most of the time, not all the time.
Yeah. No. Again, we're talking about like a 1 in 2 million case, and then there's a media spin to make that into a story.
Yeah.
I've been accused of everything that you can think of.
Right.
I was minding my own business in a black and white car. Just got my fresh cup of coffee, which I wanted to get for hours. And I finally got it. Yes. And I just wanted to go like, mind my own business, enjoy the scenery. And then this car in front of me, it was like, those moments when you're driving around and you see somebody do something so bad in their car, you're like, where's a police officer when you need one?
Right, yeah. I see that.
This happened in front of me, and I just happened to be the police officer. And so everyone around is like pointing at me.
What did he do?
Like, he went through like a red and made some crazy like U-turn. It was a completely obnoxious, selfish, unsafe move. And so everyone now, there's people standing on the sidewalk because he almost hit some people in the crosswalk. Some people pointing at me, giving me the whole like, what are you gonna do? This full like one of these like,
yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, and put my coffee down. So I go and pull the car over. The windows are tinted. I don't even know if there's one person or 12 people in the car. No idea. I just know that car just did something really silly and could hurt somebody. So let me go have a chat with them.
Yeah.
I pull him over. I walk up to the car, rolls down the window, and it happens to be he's probably about 35 years old, he's a male African-American guy, black guy. Looks at me and just goes, really? Automatic now, and then he sat there and was accusing me of racism. Wow. I pulled him over because, and I'm like, no, I pulled you over because you're driving like a dick. Yeah. So that's kind of like, no, that's not it at all. Like,
does that make you feel like maybe you shouldn't be doing it, or like slightly in your mind?
Honestly, a little bit. No. I had no idea if that was a man or a woman.
Yeah,
it could have been a tall, fat, red-headed Asian for all I know. I don't know. It was the action. It's the what you are actually doing. I don't care about your race.
Yeah.
If you were going to act like a dick or act selfishly, that's going to threaten other people, you're going to have a discussion with the good guys.
Yeah.
So now, my point being is that while people are flipping and scrolling and seeing all these opinions from the untrained people, all these calls that we go to there's somebody calling for help.
Yeah.
All these hundreds and thousands of calls, or somebody is calling for help.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. It could be their quality of life is messed up, or they're really upset, or they're suicidal, or they're concerned, or the level of violence. People are still calling for help. And so we go to those and help them. And do you think they're grateful?
Yeah.
Yes.
The guys you help them, yeah, definitely.
People like get mad about you know, I don't want to say the warrior, because I think we're more guardians than warriors, but people are upset about the guardians until the bad guy is at the gate.
Yeah. So I was driving to Earth Cafe the other night with my wife. I never go out with my wife this late at night. Her parents are in town, they're watching the kids. And it's like 10:30 at night. She's heavily pregnant. So she's, let's go out, go to Earth Cafe. So we're driving down. And I'm getting pulled by a policeman behind us. I'm like, oh, shit. So there's a policeman behind us. I'm like, I've never been pulled for ages. So I pull over. And straight away, I'm a little bit nervous. Obviously, even when there's a police car just driving behind you, I think everyone who's listening to this will feel the same. You get a bit nervous. Oh, no. Then you start looking, you start making sure your seatbelt's on. You start making sure you're driving the speed limit, and you like just shit your pants straight away.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm like thinking, oh, no, what did I do? Did I not signal? Did I drive too fast? Pulls over. Anyway, it's a young cop comes to in, a young, good-looking guy, and he's the nicest ever, super polite and all that. And I never had I don't even know what the tax discs in England. It's me date on me registration.
Oh yeah, your stickers on your license plate, your registration.
It was out of date, even though my registration was up to date. But he just told us to change it, and he was really nice.
You criminal.
All right. And I was like, oh. But anyway, luckily I had my driving license, I had everything on us, and he was cool. He went back to the car, and then he come back, and I come and he was standing at the window, and I started talking to him. I said, do you look familiar? He didn't look that familiar, but I just thought I want to make conversation with him. We've got the boxing gym, Boxing Burn. Oh yeah, I've done boxing before. And I never had any business cards, so I give him a sticker, Boxing Burn sticker. So I give him the sticker with Boxing Burn. I went, come and check it out, come and do a free class and all that. And he was really sound. I shook his hand and I met him.
Sounds like bribery to me.
Yeah, right. But no, this was after that he cleared us. Yeah. So got back in the car. Then 10 minutes later, I got a text off Scott here. I can't remember what you said, something about the stickers, and I was like, I knew it. So someone, were you in the car?
So before people get pulled over, most of the time the person pulling over will talk on the radio,
right?
And they'll say like, "Hey, traffic, wherever," and then give out the license plate.
Yeah.
Part of the reason is so they get information back about the car, make sure it's not stolen.
Yeah.
But also, here's the other morbid part: is that in case something happens to the officer,
right,
they have somebody to follow up with and be like, "Hey, what'd you?"
Yeah.
So I heard that go out, and then I heard the plate, and then I heard the DMV information came back to your name,
Jeffries.
yeah, and I'm like, oh, but I was on another call that I couldn't leave.
Right.
Otherwise, I would have come and cavity search right now.
Yeah.
But so, oh man, what was it? So he was great. Yeah, he's a boxer. He's from New York, and so I'm picturing it's like he's got a New York accent. You've got this strong British accent. I'm like, man, that would be fun to listen to.
Yeah, he was great. And he said when he pulled us up, he went, will you put the back windows down? I mean, my windows are tinted on the car. So he just looked in, and then he gave someone the thumbs up on his car. He said, two people, it's only me and my wife in the car. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he was great, and I'm going to treat him with as much respect as possible, which I do with everyone I meet, not just policemen, but everyone I meet in life. But he was great. And I said to my wife after, this guy was amazing, but you'll get people who he'd pulled someone over, and I was great as well, who would be like, what are you pulling me over for?
Oh, yeah.
And they'll get the mobile phones out and they'll start recording in your face. Now, that must get on your nerves. Do you ever get that often when people pull the phones out and start recording?
Okay, let's talk about the phones. But I also want to talk about, because I think it's...
Because we see the videos on time.
No, absolutely. So remind me phones, next topic.
Yeah.
But because I want to talk about the police car behind you.
Right.
So this is an interesting perspective. Number one, I am the same way when I'm in my normal car.
Yeah.
I still have that initial reaction, right? Especially if it's CHP. I watch them like a bee.
What's CHP?
California Highway Patrol.
Right. Yeah,
like a bee that's flying around us. I'll watch it. Like, oh boy. But it's a normal reaction. Okay. And if you're respectful and not doing anything wrong, then like you don't really have anything to worry about. Also, majority of the time, that police officer behind you isn't even paying attention to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might be going somewhere else. Might be trying to go to the bathroom, and you're in the way.
Yeah.
You know, like, and sometimes I feel bad when I'm driving around. Let's just say I go out for like a few hours. I have no intention of ever pulling over anybody.
Yeah.
But I know that wherever that car goes, it's causing stress with people, and I kind of feel bad about that. I wish there was like a light or a button or something that says like, chill, like it's all good, it's cool.
Yeah.
Go about your day. I'm all good. Like, not interested. But that's not necessarily the case. A lot of times, the presence of the car deters the actual bad guys, not the good guys that are worried about signaling. You know, that's not necessarily that big of a deal, unless you get pulled over by a motorcycle officer. Then you might have an issue,
right?
Because that's their job to write those tickets.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when I'm driving,
helicopter.
Yeah, I'm watching what they're doing. They're probably just going to check out the scenery. It's a beautiful flight. I've been in the helicopters up here along the bluffs, and
it's nice.
It's so cool.
I bet it's nice.
So, a lot of times when I'm driving in the car and actually trying to go somewhere, right? Let's just say your wife is calling for help, and I don't necessarily want to go with lights and sirens. Like we call it code 3, right? It makes a lot of noise. Sometimes the bad guys hear it and it makes them flee or whatever. But let's just say I'm trying to get there kind of quickly. And then somebody in front of me is like completely worried about every single vehicle code known to man. And so they're driving 12 miles an hour. They're stopping at a stop sign for 7.5 seconds, turning their head left, turning their head right. Now they're going to turn all the way around to make sure, is it safe for me to proceed? Look at me. Look at my head turning off. Sir, I completely stopped. And then driving. Sometimes I'm like, I don't care. Please move. Drive fast. Get out of the way. There is that component as well to that officer that's trying to respond to go help somebody.
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah, it's just an interesting thing, man. The whole traffic thing. So
and then the cameras in your face, because I see YouTube videos. I used to watch YouTube videos. I used to like them. It's entertaining for me to watch these cops getting frustrated through little knobheads with the phone, which most of the time they're provoking the cops to get a reaction out of them. So they've got this video that's going to go viral and they're going to get loads of hits. And
so a couple of things. When they were kind of new, I think some officers would get frustrated or think that they're allowed to tell somebody that they can't film in public, which is incorrect. Like if somebody wants to film, cool. Like get my good angle, you know.
Yeah. It must be frustrating if someone pulls it out and just like in your face. Like this.
Yeah, I mean, if they get obviously you get a little too close, then we can move them back if they're directly in our face. But a couple of things, and one of the components of the law enforcement code of ethics is having courageous calm in the face of danger, scorn, or ridicule. So it doesn't matter what we are going through. We have to have courageous calm.
Right.
Whether it's somebody screaming at us that's upset about their parking ticket or cell phone or whatever the case may be. Where we kind of mess up is when we allow the natural human emotion of ego to come up, which is something that is really hard to fight sometimes. Yeah. And in fact, we do this community like citizens academy thing where we put like a normal people through scenarios, and almost 100% of the time they are the most violent people ever.
I bet.
Because they don't like, they're like, oh, that's it. They're yelling, screaming. You can't film me. They shoot everybody because they don't necessarily have the training. So what I'm saying, it takes courageous calm. Now, the cell phone thing has gotten like a little out of control in certain circumstances. Like one, if an officer is like struggling with somebody, we don't need to have 12 able-bodied males pulling their phone out just to film it. Like, help. Yeah. Like that might be a pedophile that officer's trying to take into custody for sexually assaulting a 10-year-old. Yeah. You don't know. If you don't want to help, cool, fine. find somebody that will help.
Right.
But sometimes it disgusts me, man, because, again, generally where we go, it's somebody else's worst day of their life. That doesn't need to be filmed by a bunch of people and put in the public's eye.
Yeah.
That part of makes me mad.
Is this all the time as well?
Oh, yeah.
Every day?
It happens a lot. Oh, it depends on the level. Like,
Yeah.
So here's an example. I had this call. This 15-year-old kid was messing around with some drugs, got way too high, ended up jumping off a third-story balcony.
Oh.
And he landed right in this courtyard full of people. And this poor guy is like, he's just there trying to survive. He's bloody, and there's people are freaking out. I walk in, and again, like, of course, we're going to respond. And we get there, and it's not because we're law enforcement that we're helping that guy try and survive. It's because of the people we are.
Yeah.
Like, if I was dressed or not dressed, I would have done what I could to help that kid.
Yeah. I
would not have been like, oh my gosh, let me get my phone out and film this.
Yeah.
And so our guys got there and did everything they could to try and help this kid. And I was like, I don't know, probably the fifth person there. I walk in and I just look all around, man. There's guys on balconies. I counted like 12 phones. Nobody helping.
Wow.
And so it's stuff like that. That's where I get frustrated with it. I'm like, this particular incident is going to completely affect this family, potentially for generations.
Yeah, forever. Yeah.
Like, and you're sitting there being selfish, filming it so you get some hits or be able to sell it, or try and catch a law enforcement doing something they shouldn't do. It's like the sensitivity level there is where I get upset.
Right.
But that's their right.
Do you ever get it when you approach someone in the street, or let's say you get a call, you're at Starbucks, people's fighting the person who you're talking to will pull their phone out and put it in your face?
Like, I don't mind it.
Right. I mean, do you get trained on that? Do they pull you together and say, listen, you got to calm down? Because that, like you said, a civilian, that would be really frustrating. It would be to me if someone pulls the phone out, and it's like, like I was driving up Santa Monica the other week, and there was a cyclist just taking his time. He's right in front of us. And these cyclists, I talk about this in the podcast, I don't know if you've noticed, these are the hardest fucking men in the world. They think they're Rocky. Anyway, so they're driving, and he's just taking his time, so slow. And I'm like, beat me on. Come on, mate, move along. Like, the road's empty. Let us past. And he's like, so I beat me on again. Now I'm just having fun. Beep, beep, beep. And then he gets his phone out of his pocket, and he's videoing me. And like that was frustrating me. Like, oh, you little knob.
So here's an example. Right there, see how he started filming at that moment.
Yeah.
Now imagine at that moment, that's the moment that goes public.
Yeah.
That's what it's like for us. So
yeah,
it doesn't show that he was driving the street and you waited for a while.
Yeah, and he's being
it
a
doesn't
dick.
show that you like try to do minimal. Hey, bro, can you just like scoot over? It's not working. You're waiting, and then it kind of
it gets to the point where you're like, fucking move.
That's the part. Yeah. That's the part that a lot of times I see that they don't show about why law enforcement even got to that point.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
There's been several times I spent like 10 minutes one time trying to talk some guy out. Like, can you just get out of the bed of the truck and just come over here? Like, come on, please, just come over here. Like, no big deal. Just come over here. And it comes to a certain point where you have to kind of like stop asking.
Yeah.
Then you start telling, and then it comes to a certain point, unfortunately, they have to make. Because if we don't, then who is?
And then someone pulls the phone out.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Point.
Yeah.
Like, he's done this for nothing. He never even warned us. But yeah.
That's how it is. It's always kind of like the late, and it's not giving context. But the phone thing, like we got this camera here and we're talking. It's not bothering me, right? It'd be the same thing if this was a contact.
Yeah,
now, the part that gets in the way is a lot of times people will call their lawyer and have their lawyer sit there, or their mom.
Yeah.
The only part that gets annoying to me is if that becomes something that they're talking to. So let's say you have your phone out right here, and you're talking to them instead of like, can you talk to me for a second? Like, you can film this, but listen to me, talk to me. If it becomes something that's getting in the way of the conversation, that's a little frustrating.
Yeah.
But
as for them, they show what they want. You've heard of J.K. Rowling, the lady who wrote a Harry Potter book. She posted a video of Donald Trump when he's meeting this family, and there's a person in the wheelchair, and he walks past the person in the wheelchair, and they're putting the hand out, and the person in the wheelchair, it's a kid, they're really excited to meet him. but you post a video where he walks past them and he ignores them and he talks to everyone else, then he walks away. And she's like, Donald Trump, whatever she said, he's a prick. Ignoring this little kid in a wheelchair. And this video got like 10,000 retweets and everyone commenting and saying Donald Trump's a prick. I can't believe he would do this to a little kid. The poor kid wanted to meet him, obviously. Then it came out a few days later, the video, the real video, where Donald Trump walked up to that kid first, spent lots of time with the kid, taught them, picked them up and gave them a hug, and was the nicest person ever. And then he moved on. But that bit got cut off, right?
Yep.
Then J.K. Rowling put an apology tweet out that got like 500 retweets. No one's bothered about their apology. But now these 10,000 people, but these millions of people have seen this small clip. Now Donald Trump's a prick. No one's bothered about their apology.
No.
And this kind of sounds like what we're seeing about the police. Yeah, they'll cut the beginning bit off. They'll put the shit out there. That's the only bit that people's interested in. Because you know more than anyone, people love the drama. People want the drama.
Yeah, there is that component of again, people also have made up their minds already, and if they see something that fits their decision or fits their narrative, then super. Yeah, we're gonna. I mean, I've seen stuff shared with Obama when he walked by a Marine at Air Force One and didn't salute him. Just that little. He's probably saluted that guy and spent like I don't know, 1,000 every time he gets on there, and that one little second. Wait a second, he forgot. He didn't get that guy. Oh yeah, it's a clip. Put on the internet and millions of people. Oh yeah, it's going to fit somebody's narrative. Now again, I keep talking about like the actual reality, the actual nitty gritty, ugly and beautiful world of reality. Then you have the virtual electronic on your screen narrative, drama, reality TV show stuff.
Right.
So that's kind of like, and so with law enforcement, and sometimes we get frustrated with this, that because we see everything, you know, it's not like we don't have social media and ability to look. Like it's not like we go to work and then we go back to our lab and go to sleep.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we see stuff, and you know, we're not necessarily in the business of PR. We're not in the business of like, oh gosh, okay, how we need to come up with our response and marketing scheme now.
Yeah.
Like we're too busy actually doing work.
Yeah.
And it gets frustrating for us sometimes. We're like, no, that's not true, and we want to like clarify, we want to explain ourselves, but there's such a I don't want to say a high critique, but there's also rules against us doing that stuff, and how involved we are representing particular cases in our agency and stuff like that on the internet,
right?
As opposed to, man, it's like this really good. I think it's Marcus Aurelius quote. It says, "Stop arguing what a good man should be and be one."
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I love that. Yeah. It's that. I mean, that's what we do. We as humans, I think we complain about everything, and we're not even doing that shit ourselves. We complain about him. He's doing this. He should be doing that, but we're not doing it ourselves.
Yeah, that's why I like the poem "Man in the Arena." Like the man that's actually in the arena with dirt and sweat and blood. You shouldn't be critiquing that guy from the outside if you're not doing anything.
Yeah, yeah.
Like be part of the solution. Help.
Right. I was a guest on a podcast yesterday and asked us a question. What do I think about these? This is what reminds us of that. Is these people who say, "Oh, I'd fight Mike Tyson for $10 million. I'd get in there with him." And I laugh because we get it all the time. What? Conor McGregor's getting $100 million to fight Mayweather? I would do that. All right, yeah, you would. But would you fight as a 10-year-old in a smoky pub in front of 300 people and get beat up? Would you do that over and over and over and over again, consistently for 20 years before you can get that point?
Yep.
And I think, people, and then they'll be like, well, he needs to throw his jab more, he needs to do this more, he needs to do that more. We call them, keyboard warriors or armchair warriors.
Oh yeah, I mean, same thing with boxing. Like somebody that's never thrown a punch or gotten hit or are experts on the internet.
Yeah. Because
they listen to other people and then they just regurgitate information.
Mm. And that was, for me, one of the hardest lessons as a professional boxer, getting criticism like that, because we never got trained in that I guess the same with police, or maybe you did, but we didn't get trained in. By the way, if you don't perform really well, you're going to get 1,000 people telling you you're shit at your job, you know. And I got that. I was in one of my 10 pro fights. I fought a guy, a tough journeyman, and I didn't want to fight. It was going to be my first 8-round fight. I had injury 8 weeks before the fight, and I told me promoter, I said, I'm not taking this fight because I'm injured. I can't spar. I've never fought 8 rounds before. It'll be my first time. He said, no, Tony, we need you to sell a ticket. So, well, I'm not fighting. I've never done 8 rounds before. All right, well, we'll knock the fight down to 6 rounds. And I was like, but I don't, come on, Tony, we need you. He said, 6-round fight, you'll be able to get back for the fight. So anyway, I get to the fight. I fight him. After 6 rounds, I think I've won 4 of the rounds. Withdrew 1, and he's got 1 round. So after 6 round, I went to the referee for him to raise my hand, and the referee went, whoa, we've got 2 rounds left. I was like, what? I was exhausted. It's like, imagine if you ran a 6-mile run, the last mile, you put 100% effort in, then you get the finish line to fall down. No, you got 2 more miles. Get up, run. And it broke my heart. So I'd done another 2 rounds, and I got beat up them 2 rounds. I ended up drawing the fight. But after that fight, I got so much criticism, like ridiculous. Like thousands of people telling us, you're shit, you're not going to go anywhere, you're crap. And that broke me heart, made us a stronger man than I am now. But it's just kind of like anything. Like if someone says, Scott, you're a crap police officer, you shit at your police officer, you know you're not, you know you're really good, but then you get 1,000 people telling you that all the time, you're shit. And something that you've put your life into, and something that it brings you down, you know? And I can't remember the point I was getting at with this now, but yeah, I mean, that there was the toughest thing for me. Do you get that with police? Like, do they tell you, you're going to get shit, you're going to get criticised?
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of know going in, but it's also not the ability to keep doing good. Like if you do good, keep doing good, do your best, do good. It doesn't matter what the chit chat is if you're doing good and you know you're doing good, and the people that you're helping know that, and they're grateful for it. Plus, there's also the ability of like being 100%. It comes to training, comes to like knowing your stuff, being completely prepared for that. Whatever you do see, you're ready for it.
Yeah.
And by the way, that you being super tired and then having 2 more rounds because you thought you were done, I think that's an awesome training tool. Like you have a workout. Let's just say at your gym you have a workout, and everyone kind of knows what the workout is. Yeah. And then it's over, and then you do more. Everyone doesn't know about it. I think there's a huge life lesson there. Like if you can stand up there and like give it your all, and then you think you have nothing left, and then figure out you can keep going.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, it's tough. It definitely made me the man I am today. Like with that was the hardest thing I've ever done physically in my life, and then mentally with after. Scott, we're going to have to wrap this up now. Ernie's dying to get away. So, Scott, if people want to fight, I could talk about this shit all day, you know, with the police stuff. We'll get you on again, and we'll do it all again. I love it. You know what? In fact, I wasn't even planning on getting into this because there's so much other stuff that we can talk about. You're a successful podcaster. You got all sorts of other shit going on, but I've really enjoyed doing this, and I've learned a lot, and I'm sure you're the same when you get guests on your podcast. For me, one of the best things is learning. Now, just after talking to you now for 45 minutes, I've got a different sort of respect for police officers. So
thank you.
If anyone wants to find out more about you or find you on social media, where can they go?
I'm on Instagram and Twitter. I mainly use Instagram at *ScottMcGee, like the number 1, not ONE. Yeah. Scott McGee. That's probably the best place. I throw a lot of stuff up on there that I really actually would like my kids to see when they turn 18.
Yeah, so you post really high quality pictures of your kids and stuff.
Yeah, I take that, you know, the photos and what I say there, I kind of take seriously, you know, because like if something happens to me, that's going to be there for quite some time. Yeah. Yeah. And the little messages I like to leave behind. I'm not trying to necessarily take pictures of, you know, the awesome strawberry.
And then the podcast, the Wadcast.
Yeah, Wadcast podcast. That's on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as well.
Yeah. And we'll put links to these in the show notes. So if you want to go to boxinglifepodcast.com /72. That's going to be the show notes for this podcast. We'll have Scott's links to his Instagram and everything that we spoke about, the court case, like you said, people look into and all that stuff. We'll put all that in there.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, mate.